Today on the show, we're taking a look at Viewtiful Joe, Whiplash, American Idol, and in versus, it's Mario Kart Double Dash against Crash Nitro Kart. All right, first game that we're going to talk about is Viewtiful Joe. This one's from Capcom, and it's for the GameCube. What'd you think of this one?
It's a GameCube exclusive, isn't it?
That's right. It's one of the deals that Capcom made with Nintendo to make exclusive games for their system.
Now, Viewtiful Joe, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about this game since I saw it at E3. You know, I kind of went into this thing expecting like this amazing, you know, Prince of Persia or Lord of the Rings type experience. And I was left with a 2D side-scrolling platform game, which I've played 1,000 times before.
I'll tell you, if you just look at this thing on the surface level and you just start playing through it, it does feel very similar to other beat-em-up type games that have been out there before. But what this game does is it brings a lot of elements that are familiar into one package. And the way that the game starts out is like you're just a regular average Joe. You take your girlfriend to the movie, and a bad guy pops out of the screen, drags her into the film, and then you jump into the movie. So all of the story elements are told as if you're playing inside of a film.
Am I inside the movie?
Correct, my young friend.
The art style I thought was very well done. It's very kind of comic book vibe going on here. So that's something you kind of haven't seen before.
It's, you know, super deformed, big head kind of characters, and it's cell-shaded.
Kind of like you.
Exactly.
Super deformed, big head character.
Thanks, buddy. And what you can do in this game, it is sort of a 2D scrolling beat 'em up, but there are 3D elements in the game as well. You can jump into the space. You can do double jumps really high up into the ground. You'll see the camera shift into position for that. And the other thing that this thing does is it plays with game time, and it'll actually, you can slow down time like the Matrix.
Game time.
It'll slow it down,
It's
or
slow-mo.
you can speed it up with the Mach speed, so you can go super fast.
And then there's everything up.
And there's a whole bunch of other little special moves that you can pick up along the way.
And you're calling this innovation, are you?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of bosses to battle, and those are really cool, really well designed. The first one that you come up to is this giant helicopter, and you need to slow down time, otherwise the blades will cut you in half.
It's not a bad game. I'm just saying that it's a game that I've played 10,000 times before 10 years ago.
You've played elements of this kind of game, but not all of this combined into one package. And it's more than that. It looks like it's for kids, but it's really not just like a kid's game. You have to be a gamer to play this thing.
What's Viewtiful? What is that?
That's their term. They've created it for the game.
Why not say beautiful? Why beautiful?
Why not say beautiful?
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, what are you going to give Viewtiful Joe?
I mean, like I said, it's an above average game. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
That's a good score.
It's just okay. It's above average.
It's much better than just okay. 8.5 out of 10. On the positive side, Viewtiful Joe has an insane amount of moves that he can pull off. We love the style of the game. It's very cool. And although the game isn't super long, there are lots of incentives to go back and play it again because there's lots of stuff to find.
On the negative side, as cool as this thing looks, the 2D platform elements might not be for everybody. For me, it got real repetitive really quick. And finally, what the does Viewtiful mean?
We've got another crazy animated game to talk about today. This one's called Whiplash, developed by Crystal Dynamics, published by Eidos. We looked at it on the Xbox, but it's also available for the PlayStation 2. First of all, I've never played a game called Whiplash, and that sounds like a perfect video game name to me. It could have been
a lot better than Viewtiful.
Well, whatever. And then the other thing is that you're playing two characters at once, but you're not like taking turns playing as those characters. They're actually chained together,
dragging the other one
as
around.
if they were like they just busted out of a chain gang or something. And the fact that it's a weasel and a bunny rabbit.
Spanx
the weasel. And Redmond the rabbit. And the thing that's really funny about this is that the rabbit you just abuse. He's invulnerable, invincible, so you can just thrash him at anything you see, and you actually can combo and chain moves together and power up both Spanx and Redmond as you work your way through the game. And it's utter chaos, And
kind of like what I do to you every week.
yeah, pretty much.
The first 10 or 15 minutes of this game, I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a
absolutely.
lot because it is unique. The whole storyline is that you go into this company and you have to inflict as much damage on the company as possible,
right,
so that they go bankrupt. So you actually have this meter that
counting down the millions of dollars that the
so
company's
it starts
worth.
out at like $6 million and you're counting down.
Which is a great idea.
The other thing too is that you're trying to rescue all of the animals that they are testing stuff on.
The secret is animals. Yes, animals. You often see them wandering the streets, bored and penniless, crapping all over your station wagon. And though they seem hopelessly dumb, we here at Genron overlook their lack of previous job experience and put them to work in our factory, testing the latest in our amazing line of products.
The voiceover in this
Very
game is also well done.
Yes.
But they talk too fast.
They spew it out too fast, and it repeats too much as well.
Right, and because of the volume, I can't even understand what the guy's saying half the time.
And your family have trouble listening to the radio. Just plain can't hear. Maybe it's time for pin drop hearing aids from those pin droppers at Genron.
It actually is a very, very fun concept and a great idea. Unfortunately, it kind of falls apart, not just because it gets repetitive, but also because there's some major technical problems with the way that the game is designed. Sometimes the camera gets lost behind objects and you get very confused as to where to jump and how to jump. I also found that within this big facility that you're trying to escape from, sometimes doors get closed on you, you get trapped, you can't progress because of whatever reason, and the only way that you can move on is to, like, start your game over and get past that thing again. It's almost like they painted themselves into a corner. So what are you going to give Whiplash?
I'm giving it a 7.5 as well.
7.5. You liked it as much as Viewtiful Joe?
Absolutely.
It's nowhere near as good as that. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
On the positive side, this is a really unique concept. I mean, you get to wail on people with a cute little bunny. The whole idea of destroying a building and saving animals has never been done before. And the character voices, when you can actually hear them, are pretty funny.
On the negative side, although the game is original, it gets repetitive really quickly. It's really hard to know what you're supposed to be doing sometimes, and there are camera problems in the platform sections of the game. Hey, stick around. We're going to be right back with a look at American Idol. You're excited about that, aren't you? Hey guys, I'm playing what has turned out to be my favorite Game Boy Advance game of 2003. This is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and it's a fantastic game. It's kind of similar to the Mario RPG games that have come out in the past, Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo and Paper Mario for the N64. One of the big innovations that they've done here is that you're actually playing Mario and Luigi at the same time throughout the game. I love the story in the game. Princess Peach has her voice stolen, and the voice is supposed to activate all of this magical ability for the main bad guy in the game, which I'll let you figure out who that is. All of the combat in the game takes place as a traditional RPG, but because they've added sort of this arcadey action element to it, you have a lot more sort of defensive attacks. So you can actually have the bad guys try to hit you, and as they're coming towards you, pull out the hammer and beat on them. And it makes the game fly by and be a lot more interactive and a lot more enjoyable than some of the RPGs tend to be. Very, very fun gameplay, lots of great graphics, very original music and sound effects in this thing. Going to give this a high recommendation. It's Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, 10 out of 10. All right, we're back, and we found this giant stage because we are talking about American Idol from Codemasters for the PlayStation 2. What'd you think of this one?
I think they did what they could with the license that they had.
I think this is a very lame game.
Oh, well, there you go. There's yet another opinion.
I think they dropped the ball completely. I think there's so many cool...
How do you make American Idol great?
Well, I'll tell you this. You start with a good game. Half of the stuff that you do in this game is so completely arbitrary, there's no way to really judge how you're doing in the game.
The buttons are to the beat.
No, not when you're beginning, they're not. They're just completely arbitrary. You don't know
when...
Well,
that's because it's the acoustic piano version, so they don't have beats at that point. But once you get on the stage, like I did...
Right.
Then, you know, there's more of a beat. It's actually connected to some of the lyrics and the vocals. So You know, if somebody does a ah, you actually have to hold the button down and you have to, you know, time it like all these other games, whether it's a Mad Maestro or a Dance Dance Revolution, Britney's Dance Beat, whatever.
The problem is
the
you're
same
listing
kind of
off
thing.
all the games that are better than this one, and that's...
Well, they're all the same to me.
They're
to
better.
me, they're all the same. To explain the game really quick, basically there's a cross in the middle of the screen, and there'll be button presses coming in, and the triangle's always at the top, and the X is always at the bottom, which I thought was kind of too easy because you knew exactly
where everything was coming from.
Where the buttons were coming from. I became an American Idol in my first time sitting
in
down.
his own imagination.
I beat you out there, sir, but you were down to the top three.
I got tired and went to sleep.
He got tired and went to sleep.
When you get off pitch, they've done a cool thing. They've affected the voice somehow so that it sounds really bad.
When you make a mistake in the button pressing, it actually changes the pitch of the singer. So he'll start to be like, and you're like, whoa, whoa, you know? And you get judged on your performance.
On your appearance as well.
Every performance, you have to go in and you can unlock new costumes and things like that. But you have to go in and you set your hairstyle and your clothes and you try to come up with what a cool look
I like
is.
that.
And the character graphics too, I mean, they are kind of like they're cell shaded. It's kind of a unique experience.
The design was kind of cool.
A little cartoony.
I didn't like the fashions though, man. Their clothes are really bad in this game.
For me, the tension was...
Tension?
When the tension was is that after you get graded by everyone, and you're waiting to see what the viewers voted percentage-wise, and oh my God, am I going to get axed, or am I going to make it to the final round, especially when me and you were battling each other and there's down to 5 people and we weren't sure.
When was that happening?
We were going to make that.
Was I sleeping?
You were sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like the fact that there's so many cumbersome load times in this game.
That's really
it really pulls you out of the experience. I did like the voices of the guys or girls that get to sing in the thing. You have a few different on either gender. And they all sound really good, and they do the different types of music that are in the game very well.
I can only give it a 6.5.
I'm at 4.5. I didn't really have a good time with this game at all.
On the positive side, they have a lot of different licensed songs to choose from. The people who sing the characters' voices are actually really good. And it's kind of cool to be judged on each of your performances.
On the negative side, way too much loading and saving in this game. The fashion choices in the game are 100% bargain bin, and really they could have done so much more with the gameplay. This is not a step up with rhythm games at all. All right, we're going to do something a little different today with hardware. We're going to talk about a game that you need hardware in order to play it with, which actually comes with the game. This is Karaoke Revolution from Konami.
Amazingly enough, it recognizes your voice's pitch. And then when you start to sing, a little pitch meter is going like this. So you can literally sit there and go, oh, and the higher you go, the higher the bar will raise. And what you want to do is get the pitch to match exactly what the song is with the lyrics.
Right, and it'll tell you what the note is, basically, on the pitch scale. And then it'll also tell you the length that you have to hold that note.
Now, you can control 4 elements in the game.
Right.
You can control the volume of the music, the volume of the singer singing the music, the volume of your voice in the music, and also the volume of your voice in your earpiece.
Can you control the volume of your phone ringing off the hook from your neighbors calling you to tell you to shut up?
No, you cannot.
You can't do that.
There's a lot of songs on there as well. We got stuff from Van Halen, Britney Spears, Madonna and Grease, and rock, pop, dance. You know how sometimes, you have like the cheesy supermarket versions of some of these songs and they sound really bad. I tell you, I was listening to this stuff and I couldn't tell a difference.
Did you try singing that REM song, End of the World? Did you try singing that thing at all?
See, that's the thing, though. Because you can cheat in this game, I just go, and it's just, woohoo, I'm a star.
Perfect score, I know.
I'm a star.
That is the problem with the thing. It'd be cool if it had that speech recognition thing that's in like SOCOM and Rainbow Six 3, if it could recognize the words. What would you give the game on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd give it an 8.
I'm at an 8 as well.
On the positive side, the whole idea behind this game is completely unique and innovative. The songs that you get in the game are really good, a big wide variety, and the quality is excellent.
On the negative side, you don't really have to say the words of the songs, you just have to hum the pitch. Although there are a lot of songs on there, eventually you'll have heard them all way too many times. Hey, stick around. After the break, it's the battle of the kart games with Mario Kart Double Dash versus Crash Nitro Kart. I'm in my favorite Mexican restaurant, and as I'm waiting for my beautiful burrito to arrive, I pulled my Game Boy Advance out of my bag, and I'm playing Mucha Lucha Mascaritas of the Lost Code. Now, this game is based on an animated series, and it's about these three masked wrestlers that are going to this wrestling school. It's actually kind of a fun idea. Unfortunately, they've used every standard cliche that we've always seen in these scrolling beat-em-up video games in the past. I mean, this is just like Final Fight or Double Dragon or Streets of Rage. This thing is so tiresome to play. The controls are utter crap. We've got all kinds of collision problems in this thing. Very, very sloppy there. There's lots of repetition with all the bad guys. They got this sort of gas mask, elephant snout dude that just keeps popping out, and this porcupine guy. I like the look of him. I like the style of this thing, but man, is this a boring game. Mucha Lucha, Mascaritas of the Lost Code, 2 out of 10.
Now, the definition of a buried treasure is a game that was really, really good, but maybe didn't sell a lot of units. And this game, surprisingly enough, did not sell very well. I'm talking about PaRappa the Rapper. Now, because it's a PlayStation 1 game, you can put it in your PlayStation 2 and play it as well. I gotta say, this was the most innovative game for its time. And the story here was that it was all about like great music and interactive. The songs are hilarious.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
Got the funk flow.
In the rain or in the snow.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
It's, you know, it's all about kind of timing, you know, as people did certain moves, you had to press the button and it showed you what button, and you had to do it in time with the music. Then the better you did, the music would get more full, and the worse you did, it would go down. Now, when the game first came out, you know, it was priced at around 30 bucks. Well, now that it's 5 years old, you can probably go back and pick it up for real cheap, probably what you could have rented it for back then. Anyway, check it out. If you have never played it, you got to pick it up. If you've never owned it, you definitely got to get it. PaRappa the Rapper.
Today, it's all about kart racing. We've got Mario Kart Double Dash from Nintendo for the GameCube versus Crash Nitro Kart, which is from Vivendi Universal for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. What did you think of the graphics in these two games?
Well, the graphics in Crash, I thought, were pretty well done.
Yep.
I mean, they were adequate. They had nice maps and things like that. I mean, they didn't blow me away or anything, but the maps in Mario Kart really did blow me away.
Absolutely.
And the graphics were much more out there and visually fulfilling.
Well, I think, first of all, Nintendo really understands the quality and the value.
Presentation.
Yeah,
They did the
a presentation, but
so well.
it's all based around their characters. They really knew how to bring their characters into this kart universe. I don't even know half of the characters in the Crash game, and, you know, I didn't really care about them at all. I didn't really care about playing them. I like playing as Crash, but the other guys that look like Jell-O and things like that, I'm not big fans of those guys. And the other thing that I noticed, too, was that the frame rate on the Xbox version of Crash Nitro Kart in multiplayer mode has chugs and sloppiness and slow frame. I couldn't believe it in a kart racing game. I think Mario Kart Double Dash with the 2-in-1 karts, the awesome interactive environments, much better looking. And even the menus are much better looking in Mario Kart Double Dash.
The presentation overall.
Okay, now let's compare the gameplay in Double Dash to Crash Nitro Kart.
Well, I think that Double Dash takes the cake on this one as
Yes,
well.
yep.
The one thing that I do like about Crash is it has adventure mode.
I like that too.
Which, you know, it really kind of tells a story and why you're beating, the races you're beating.
They ripped that off from Diddy Kong Racing, which was one of my favorite kart racing games.
But I'll tell you the worst part about both of these games,
Yes.
which is sacrilege, especially for kart racing games, no online play.
Yeah,
Come
no, that's
on
not
now.
good.
Especially for Crash on the Xbox, you got to get Xbox Live in there.
Yeah,
Come
they
on.
could have done that for
You know, it's a
sure.
reason for people to buy it.
Double Dash, you can play over a LAN, so they've got the Ethernet connection going. They just don't connect it to anything online. Now, what did you think of the audio in these games?
I think Mario takes it again.
Yes.
You know, the cart sound is very funny and cartoony, almost sounds like a sputtering fart or something.
Right.
And I thought the music was a little more appropriate and better production quality in Crash.
Right.
But the overall audio...
I don't know about appropriate. I think the music in Mario is appropriate for the different levels.
Yeah, but the problem was that the production quality, it sounded very much like an old Super Nintendo
It sounded
game
like a cartridge.
on Mario.
Absolutely.
It sounds like cartridge music with the... You know, I want to hear that style of music, but played with live instruments. I say that all the time, I know, but...
I hated the voiceovers in Crash Nitro Kart. I couldn't stand them. They just seemed like they were just squeezed out there any chance they could. They didn't make any sense to me, whereas in Mario Kart, you really got a sense of the playfulness going back and forth between the characters. I love little baby Luigi, who can't even say his name. When you select him, he says...
How does he sound?
Baby Luigi.
It's overly cute, but it works so well in the game, and if you're playing with other people, you're smiling, man. You're having a really good time. All right, so overall, what are your opinions on these two kart games?
Overall, I think Mario Double Dash is a more polished game. The presentation is amazing. Crash, although okay, it just doesn't stand up to Mario.
Absolutely. Much more polished experience with Double Dash. The good news about Crash is that it's available on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, and Mario Kart obviously won't be on those two systems, so everybody gets a kart game. But if you've got the Cube, don't even look at Nitro Kart. So what are you going to give Mario Kart Double Dash?
I'm giving Mario Kart an 8.5.
I'm giving it a 9.5. What about Crash Nitro Kart?
Crash gets the 7.
I'm giving it a 7 as well.
Well, it looks like the Paisan wins once again. We give the nod to Mario.
Today on the show, we took a look at Viewtiful Joe for the GameCube. We love the style and look of this beat-em-up, but Tommy was really confused about the name. On the Xbox, but also for the PlayStation 2, we looked at Whiplash. This is an awesome concept. You actually get to wail on bad guys with a bunny rabbit. The action does get a little repetitive, though. For the PlayStation 2, but also for the PC, we looked at American Idol. There's some nice singing in this game, but it's not a step up in the music game genre at all. In Versus, we looked at Mario Kart Double Dash from Nintendo for the GameCube, which has great graphics, audio, and gameplay. We compared it to Crash Nitro Kart from Vivendi Universal for the GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. Now, we liked the adventure mode in this game, and the gameplay was decent, but without a doubt, it did not stack up to Mario Kart Double Dash at all. Double Dash is the clear winner here. In hardware, we mixed things up a little bit and looked at Karaoke Revolution for the PlayStation 2, which requires a microphone to play. Now, this game features a good variety of songs and very fun gameplay, but you can cheat and not actually sing the words. On the Game Boy Advance, I reviewed Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Now, this is one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games of all time. It's a great action role-playing game, and you should definitely pick it up. Hey, stick around. After the break, it's the battle of the kart games with Mario Kart Double Dash versus Crash Nitro Kart.